Hey guys, thanks so much for stopping in and joining me today. I sure appreciate you. And today I am thinking that we're going to go over my November rotation palettes. So yes, I am orange as heck today. I'm filming this the day before Halloween. So I'm getting ready to change out those palettes and I was just feeling the orange vibe. The weather's cooling down. I was feeling it. I also want to mention that yes, I have a really heavy patch of orange eyeshadow right here. I was dealing with a real bad dry patch and like it was really obvious that my eyeshadow was not going over the patch. I tried something new and put some glitter glue on there, the NYX glitter glue primer, and it worked clearly because it's just sitting there, but I didn't think about the, with it being glue, it's not going to blend, and I'm too lazy to go back and fix it. So hopefully y'all can look past it because I'm not going back to fix it. Everything else looks great. We're going to deal. But anyways, let's roll into today's video. So I have a selection of palettes here that, yes, a lot of these are in my typical fall rotation, but some of these didn't get used up in September and October, so they are going to follow me into November. And some of these palettes are new to my rotation. I wouldn't necessarily consider them fall palettes, but I'm trying something new. Instead of going into a bulk season, I'm trying to divvy up my palettes into months. So these are palettes that I feel would be appropriate for November. There's a mix of cool tones, neutrals, warm tones, but I need to quit blabbering. Let's roll into this. Okay guys, so you might see some repeats from my fall video, but that's okay. So I am taking the ABH Rose Metals palette with me into November. There's definitely some cool tones in here and a couple warm tones. So I just kind of feel like this is going to be a great palette to take into November with me. I dipped into it a little bit in September and October, but not as much as I'd like. I'd like to use this some more. So this is going to follow us into November. Next up, I actually have not used this at all in the fall, and I'm really bummed, but we're going to use it up now. This is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I've talked about this palette a couple times already, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but this is definitely going to be my warm neutral palette for the month. Another one that you guys have seen pop up, I did not use this at all in September, October. I just couldn't see myself wearing these tones and these colors, but now that we're going into that more colder, cooler season, depending on where you're at, of course, I do see myself using this now more in the month of November. I really want to dig into these two deeper tones back here, and I do want to touch into teal here, this teal color, Bud. So I feel like this is more of like a moving into winter palette. This may even go into December with us. I'm not sure yet, but this is going to be a great cooler tone palette for me to move into December. Speaking of cooler tones, I have a classic here, and this is Colourpop. That's Taupe. I think that these are going to make great, just beautiful, neutral, simple, quick, easy looks. This is actually a repurchase. I panned most of the shades in the first palette that I owned, so I went ahead and replaced it. But this is just such a quick, simple, easy go-to look. I feel like it's very November-esque for my tastes, so this will definitely be rolling into November with us. I have a Sigma palette here. This is the Ivy palette. I have used this a couple times this season. I just feel like I'm going to get more use out of it now, November, December. These are just kind of darker tones, so darker, cooler tones. So I feel like this is going to serve me better in November than it is going to the past, like September, October. For me, September, October is more warm tones. November is more cooler, darker tones. That's just me personally and how I feel. So yeah. So this is actually a new to me palette. It's not new, but new to me palette. This is the Sahara by AlterEgo. I haven't touched this one yet. I haven't even swatched her. I scratched her by accident. There's a scratch in this one from the little plastic insert. But this is just a beautiful palette. Supposedly, this is a dupe for the Biba from Natasha Denona. But we've definitely got some warm tones in here. We've got some true neutrals in here. And then we've got some like smoky tones in here. I just feel like this is going to be a great all-around palette. I want to pull it into my November rotation. Not specifically because it reminds me of November, but just because I just got this and I haven't had a chance to use it yet. And I'm really, really anxious to. So let's see what this can do for us in the month of November. Another, ooh, goodness, another AlterEgo palette, the Mirage. I have used this quite a few times already. You can clearly see she is messy. That's the only complaint I have so far about this palette is the shades are really, really messy and they're getting into these cream shadows down here. I'm not loving that. I almost wish these had like some kind of cover on them. But other than that, the shades perform wonderfully. I'm really loving this one. I love how this has got a warm side and a cool side. So I'm kind of feeling the vibe. It's gonna, you know, it carried me through through October, excuse me, and then now this side's going to carry me through November, so I am excited to keep using this one. I am currently reviewing this. In about 2 weeks, I'll probably have a new to me palette review, speed reviews, and this will be included in that. Y'all have seen this one quite a few times in this season. This is the Nomad Hudson Valley palette. What I love about this one, again, kind of like that Mirage palette, it has a warm side and a cooler tone side. I've been using the heck out of this side. This is actually the palette I used to create this look here. I threw this color in the crease. I threw this one, this Farm to Table shade, in the outer corner. And then I covered my lid with this shade right here. And then I used this kind of just to blend out some of those rougher areas, and then carried this shade across my lower lash line. So that's kind of what gave me this vibe and this look right here, in case you're interested. But so I love this for, you know, September, October. So now I'm going to dip into this side for the November rotation. I may not use this one quite as much because I have used the heck out of this already this season, but I will definitely be dipping into this side. One more Sigma palette. This is also new to my collection. This is the Sigma Beauty and the Beast palette. This one I just got. I've only used it twice, but it is just a very simple neutral palette here. The really only true pop of color is this deep blue, but again, that just kind of gives me November vibes, and this is brand new to me, so I do want to keep using it. So this one will carry over into November while I continue to review it. That's the bulk of the palettes that I'll be using for the month of November. I have a couple, I call them filler palettes here. These are ones where if I'm starting to get bored with my rotation, I want to dip into something different, or if I need to change my eye look midday for an event I have going on that night or what have you, or just, you know, supplemental, you know, sometimes I just want to add to a look. So I have a couple of those here. This one is more of just like, it's always out and being used. Goodness, she's got something all over her. But this is the Morphe Gilded Desert palette. I really like this one. It's a lot bigger than most of the palettes I prefer to have in my collection. However, there's just every color imaginable, and this just screams like mid-fall to me. I mean, you've got oranges, you've got reds, you've got true neutrals, you've got taupes, you've got dark color. Did I see taupes? Taupes. Okay. Taupe colors. You've got some reds, you've got a matte black, you've got a matte white. I love this thing. This kind of lives on my desk year-round. I use it not necessarily just fall, year-round, but I do gravitate more towards it in the fall. But I call this a filler palette, so if I'm just needing something that I'm comfortable with and something easy to work with, I'll grab this one right here. But it's not technically a fall palette for me in my November rotation. Another one, you've seen this one pop up too. This is the Pat McGrath Star Wars. I'm reviewing this one as well. I think I have my final thoughts on it. We'll get into it in the palette review. I'm finding myself not gravitating toward this like I hoped I would. We'll get into it in the review that's coming in the next week or two on all of these palettes. Again, another quick filler, the e.l.f. Pumpkin Pie Bite Size palette. And last but certainly not least, and I apologize, this cover is filthy. This is the NARS Suede Voyager palette. Yeah. She's just kind of like a nice neutral brown here. I love a smoky brown eye. I'm not big on black smoky eyes or super, super dark smoky eye. So I really prefer a brown smoky eye. And this kind of color story will get that for me. I've got some light shimmers, which I do really, really like. But yeah, I just thought this would be a fun one to throw in the November rotation. This will probably go into December as well if I don't use it in November. But I wanted that option. And I haven't really used this very much since it's been in my collection. It's okay. It's not the best. It's not my favorite, but I do enjoy it. And so I want to get some more use out of that. So I'm going to pull that into my frivolous part. All right, well, that's it for me. I hope that if you were looking for some inspiration for some November palettes that you were able to grab that here. If you're here for just entertainment purposes, thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. I do post these looks with these palettes every single day on, well, almost every single day. Not every single day, but most days. I try to give my face a makeup break at least one day a week, and that typically is Sundays. But Monday through Saturday, I'm posting the palette I've used and the looks I create. So if you have any interest in that, it is on my Instagram. I am Makeup with Michaela on Instagram as well. And that'll be at the end of this video in case you need to check that out. But I just appreciate you guys so, so much. I really, really do appreciate it. I'm not just saying that to say it. You guys are watching, you're liking, you're subscribing, you're disliking. I love it all. Thank you so, so much for just being here. I appreciate you and thank you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and I'll catch you next time. Bye.